Since its founding, the SCP Foundation has documented thousands of anomalies. Some entities appeared only recently and were swiftly contained, while others are so ancient that even the combined lifespans of all 8 planets in the solar system might not compare. This is a timeline of SCPs, going from the most ancient to the most modern. Before the universe, SCP-001, the Scarlet King. Before the universe itself took shape, there was the Scarlet King. Records of him appear in the blood-written scrolls of the Daevites, in Sarkic rituals, and even across multiple dimensions. Because his existence is not limited to the physical form but extends across multiple layers of thought, the Scarlet King is one of the anomalies that the Foundation can never contain. Prehistory. SCP-169, Leviathan. Around 541 to 485 million years ago, during the Cambrian period, Leviathan existed. The Foundation first took notice of it through unusual seismic disturbances beneath the ocean. Cross-referenced with paleogeological data, findings indicate that this is a colossal creature spanning hundreds of kilometers in length, capable of triggering earthquakes and tsunamis worldwide, with nothing more than a shift of its body. SCP-682, hard-to-destroy reptile. Around 500 to 100 million years ago, during the age of the dinosaurs, SCP-682 existed. The Foundation recovered this entity during an investigation into a research facility studying giant reptiles. Genetic analysis reveals traits from numerous ancient reptile species, proving it has survived multiple mass extinctions. With its high intelligence, near-limitless regenerative ability, and deep hatred for humanity, SCP-682 stands as one of the most dangerous anomalies ever contained. SCP-1000, Bigfoot. Around 100,000 to 10,000 BC. During the Paleolithic era, SCP-1000 existed. Legends from many indigenous tribes speak of a giant species, supported by archaeological evidence of unusual skulls and bones. Research indicates that they once ruled the Earth even before Homo sapiens, but now only a few individuals remain, and every encounter carries the risk of deadly danger. SCP-3199, Humans, Refuted. Around 50,000 to 10,000 BCE, SCP-3199 existed, a prehistoric species unlike any other ever known. It possesses a humanoid-animal hybrid form, the ability to reproduce without limit under suitable conditions, and represents a threat capable of wiping out all of humanity. Ancient times. SCP-073, Cain. Around 3000 to 2000 BC, during the era of the ancient Near East, SCP-073, Cain, emerged. The Foundation became aware of him through ancient religious texts and archaeological traces in Mesopotamia. Cain possesses an immortal body, his skin covered with indecipherable inscriptions, yet his demeanor is notably calm and courteous. SCP-076, Abel. From the same era as Cain comes SCP-076, Abel, for Abel is Cain's younger brother. Ancient records describe him as an immortal warrior, one who has been killed countless times yet always resurrects within a stone sarcophagus. While Cain is calm and courteous, Abel is aggressive and ruthless, ready to destroy anyone who stands in his way. SCP-3000, Anantashesha. Around 1500 to 500 BC, the Vedic texts and the Puranas spoke of Anantashesha, the colossal serpent dwelling beneath the ocean. Later, the Foundation discovered an immobile entity in the Bay of Bengal, identified as SCP-3000, matching those descriptions. Encounters with this entity cause humans to fall into a state of complete madness and utter despair. SCP-1123, Atrocity Skull. From the same period as Anantashesha, around 1500 to 500 BC, SCP-1123 emerged. During an excavation, a skull inscribed with ancient Sanskrit characters was uncovered, its age consistent with Vedic texts. When touched, SCP-1123 forces victims to relive memories of historical massacres, with many cases resulting in immediate death. SCP-140, the Chronicle of the Daevites. SCP-140 is an ancient book written in red ink, analyzed to date back to around 2000 to 1000 BCE. Each time it is supplied with more ink, its contents expand, adding further details about the Daevite civilization, a bloody, heretical empire that worshipped the Scarlet King. The discovery of SCP-140 serves as evidence that the Daevite civilization truly existed before vanishing from human history. SCP-2317, Devourer of Worlds. Around 2000 to 1000 BC, Norse mythology recorded the existence of a massive stone door sealing away the Devourer of Worlds. Behind the door lies a colossal entity bound by 7 magical chains. According to ancient texts, if these chains were to break one by one, the creature would be freed and all life would come to an end. SCP-093, Red Sea Object. Middle Eastern legends speak of a blood-red circular mirror, later recovered by the Foundation, in a region tied to numerous ancient records. When gazed into, the user is pulled into another dimension, one that recreates the ruins and tragedies of civilizations long gone. SCP-2200, Sword of the War God. Archaeological analysis dates SCP-2200 to around 1000 BC, during the era of ancient Greece. It is an ancient iron sword with Greek inscriptions along its blade, described in texts as the Sword of the War God. Whoever wields it is driven to kill, and the blade possesses the ability to replicate itself with every battle. SCP-1440, Old Man from Nowhere. Since the dawn of human warfare, there has been SCP-1440. He is immortal, appearing as an aged nomadic man wandering endlessly with a worn travel bag. Wherever he sets foot, plagues, conflicts, and catastrophic disasters inevitably follow. Medieval times. SCP-049, Plague Doctor. In the 14th to 15th centuries, as Europe was ravaged by the Black Death, records began to mention SCP-049. Clad in a black robe and wearing a beaked mask, he claimed to cure disease, yet every treatment ended in death. The Foundation later captured SCP-049 in Europe, discovering his ability to kill with a single touch and transform victims into reanimated corpses that obey his will. SCP-4666, Yule Man. In the 15th to 16th centuries, folklore across northern Europe spoke of a mysterious figure known as the Yule Man. Many ancient records describe his appearances on freezing winter nights, bringing tragedy precisely during Christmas. The Foundation later correlated these accounts with modern Weissnacht events, confirming that SCP-4666 is the very same entity. However, all attempts at capture have failed. He continues to appear and vanish without leaving a trace. SCP-023, Black Shuck. Around the 16th to 17th centuries, English folklore told of a massive black dog with glowing red eyes, known as Black Shuck. Anyone who met its gaze, or their relatives, would die within a year. Local legends of mysterious deaths across England align with Foundation records, confirming SCP-023 as the cause. SCP-701, the Hanged King's Tragedy. In the 17th century, a mysterious play titled The Hanged King's Tragedy emerged in Europe. Whenever performed, both audience and actors would descend into a state of frenzy, ending in scenes of murder right on stage. The Foundation has secured numerous manuscripts and copies, yet the true origin of the play has never been determined. Early Modern Period. SCP-1867, Lord Blackwood. If SCP-1867's accounts are to be believed, then in the 19th century, during the Victorian era, there lived a Lord Blackwood. He claimed to be a gentleman and an explorer who had journeyed through lands unknown to humankind. Yet, when discovered by the Foundation, Lord Blackwood was nothing more than a talking sea slug. Still, Many details from his tales align with archaeological findings, leaving his true identity shrouded in mystery. SCP-811, Swamp Woman. Around the 16th century in South America, stories emerged of a humanoid creature dwelling in the swamps, identified as SCP-811. It exhibits carnivorous behavior, preying on both humans and animals, using bodily fluids to dissolve its victims before consuming them. Fortunately, the Foundation has since captured this entity and secured it within a specialized enclosure habitat. Early 20th century. SCP-106, the Old Man. Around 1915, during World War I, the first records of SCP-106 appeared. Many soldiers vanished mysteriously, leaving behind rapidly decayed corpses, giving rise to rumors on the battlefield of an old man with rotting flesh. When the entity was later captured, the Foundation confirmed that SCP-106 could pass through solid matter and drag victims into a pocket dimension where they suffered horrific torment. SCP-058, Heart of Darkness. Between 1915 and 1920, the first reports of SCP-058 described a massive heart with insect-like legs and a whip-like appendage, moving with extreme speed and ferocity. Accounts from that period describe SCP-058 slaughtering entire villages within just a few hours. Only much later, after the Foundation was established, was the entity finally contained, at a tremendous cost. SCP-191, Cyborg Child. Around the 1920s to 1930s, the Foundation rescued a young girl from an illegal experiment in the United States. Her body had been severely altered. Half of her was machinery, with wires and medical devices permanently fused to her. SCP-191 survived, but could never return to a normal life, bearing the permanent scars of those cruel experiments. SCP-2952, C.O.R.G.I. Around 1920, local records along the U.S. West Coast began mentioning an unusual dog. Later research confirmed it to be a colossal Pembroke Welsh Corgi, over 30,000 kilometers in length, immortal, and capable of fully regenerating from any injury. Along its body, small doors occasionally appear, from which tiny humanoids emerge, invisible to the naked eye, but visible in photographs and video recordings. SCP-087, the Stairwell. Around 1930, during maintenance work on an old building, workers reported a dark staircase with no visible end. Records of this anomalous architecture were preserved in local files. Decades later, the Foundation discovered and secured the site, conducting expeditions equipped with cameras and microphones. The collected footage documented the sound of a child crying from deep below, along with SCP-0871, a distorted human face lacking eyes, nose, and mouth. SCP-096, the Shy Guy. Around the 1930s, in a remote region of the former Soviet Union, a series of disappearances began to occur. No investigation team sent there ever returned. Later, the Foundation pieced together surviving records, forming a picture of an abnormally tall and emaciated entity. Through verification, they confirmed that anyone who sees the face of this entity will be relentlessly pursued until they are killed. Late 20th century. SCP-610, the Flesh That Hates. During the 1940s to 1950s, numerous reports from Siberia described villages undergoing horrific transformations, people and buildings alike turning into living flesh, spreading without end. Rumors of a red plague turned the region into a forbidden zone. It was only after the SCP Foundation was established that the area was secured, quarantined, and completely isolated from the outside world. SCP-261, Pan-Dimensional Vending Machine. Around the 1950s, in Japan, a strange vending machine was discovered. On the outside, SCP-261 appears no different from a normal machine. But when money is inserted, it can dispense products from countless parallel worlds. Many of these items are completely unfamiliar, bearing brand names non-existent on Earth, and some even pose serious dangers to users. The Foundation has since secured and sealed SCP-261 for research, strictly restricting all public experimentation. SCP-239, Witch Child. In the 20th century, in Norway, a young girl was born with anomalous abilities. From an early age, she could bend reality, moving objects, creating matter, and unintentionally endangering those around her. The Foundation quickly intervened, designating her SCP-239 and classifying her as an entity requiring strict containment. SCP-1981, Reagan, cut up while talking. In 1983, during a speech by U.S. President Ronald Reagan, an anomalous VHS tape surfaced. At first, the footage appeared normal, but within seconds, the image distorted. The voice became warped, and the entire content turned unsettling. In the tape, Reagan repeatedly manifests spontaneous wounds, yet continues speaking until the end of the recording. SCP-507, Reluctant Dimension Hopper. Around the 1980s, in the United States, an ordinary man suddenly gained the ability to randomly slip into alternate dimensions. He could not control when or where he would go, sometimes disappearing for weeks before returning in a state of panic. The Foundation designated him SCP-507, noting him as a rare anomaly with interdimensional abilities yet completely powerless over his own condition. So, which anomaly surprised you the most? Beyond the SCPs on this list, do you know of any that appeared in the same era, or perhaps even older? Leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next case files.